Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great. Hope you're having a great week so far, and welcome to this new video on Solana. We're back again, all right? We need to make an update right here. We've pushed down a little bit lower than the last time I covered Solana, which I think was on Monday. Monday, we were still holding the 30-day rolling VWAP. Which was expected. This pullback, if you watch my video back in on Saturday, I cover Solana once every 2 days normally, right? So Monday, Saturday, and now again Wednesday, and we'll be back again probably Friday. It depends a little bit on what happens, but if you take a look at Solana right here, what you can see is that we pushed down a little bit lower. Back then we were holding the 30-day rolling VWAP. I did not necessarily expect this, but we did talk about it in the video, right? I mean, basically what we're doing right now is we're testing this support level right here at $210, which is where we still had a fair value gap, but it's also where the daily trend is, and honestly, and it's also a high liquidity zone. By the way, you can see that the previous month point of control is right here between $205 and $202. So a lot of liquidity is stacked around that level. We've tested that so far. We dropped down with, especially on Monday, with relatively high volume. But if you compare this volume to the volume we've had before in August, it's quite low, all right? And trust me, that comes back a little bit later in the video, because the question now, after hitting that strong resistance level between 250 and 260, is, all right, well, we're definitely testing the uptrend right here. Can we get a good reaction here? Can we actually continue this uptrend, or at least can we get a bounce? And I think the answer to that is yes, I do expect a bounce here. Now, while I say that, or before I tell you why I think that, I do think it's good to highlight that the fundamentals for Solana have decreased quite a bit, right? If you take a look at the TVL right here, the spotlight has definitely been stolen by BNB, and we're seeing some outflows out of Solana. But ultimately, I don't think that changes the long-term fundamentals. And I still think the fundamentals here are not bad, all right? And the fundamentals, like if you look at the DEX trading volumes, they're great. And if you look at the fundamentals since August, they've been doing good. And right now, I also, look, so the fundamentals are not the reason why I think we'll bounce. The key reason why I think we'll bounce, and I do want to stress that me saying that I think we'll bounce does mean that I still think we can spike down a little bit lower. If we get some bad news into $200, which is where we, or $200 and 198, where we have the value area high right here of the previous range, and also the 90-day rolling VWAP just below. So that is a possibility if we get some bad news. Honestly, do I think we're going to spike down into that? No. We're already at a very strong support level right here with that fair value gap with $210, which historically is also a strong support level. We had another fair value gap right here. We're respecting that relatively well. If you take a look at the price and the RSI right here, you can actually see a bit of a bullish divergence right here with the price making lower lows, but the RSI, at least from Monday until this morning, making a higher low, even though the price dipped down quite a bit lower. But that's a bottom confirmation, right? That's a bottom confirmation, quite a lot of volume. That's also, I mean, we tapped right into that previous month POC. This looks like a liquidity grab. So I think we can at least expect recovery into $218. And then the main question is going to be, and that depends very much on the fundamentals. It depends very much on Bitcoin. You know, is Solana going to be strong enough to instantly reclaim the most important level at $220? If we're going to be able to reclaim $220, then we're on, all right? And then all of a sudden we can get to the monthly point of control at 237 again. I would say this is a little bit ambitious. After all the strength we've seen so far earlier in September, and after and what we're seeing right now, where the attention is not very much focused on Solana, I would say it's most likely that we're going to bounce up here, but that we will remain relatively stable on top of 205, on top of 210, and then eventually later we'll be able to get a move into 235 and 237 again. And then from there, hopefully higher as well. But those are my thoughts. I think that's what you need to know. So thank you for watching, everybody. Take care and bye.